Heathcott hadn't had a major league at-bat since May 27th. To step in that situation in particular, how difficult is that for a guy?
Well, I think it's really difficult because, as you said, it's in the middle of a race. He has not been here for a while. He was playing well before he got hurt, and then, he has not been here, like I said, and to be able to do that off a very good closer. He's up near the league lead in saves. It's pretty amazing.
Well, here's the 1-2 from Miller to Butler. Struck him out swinging. Fastball up. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
You mentioned CeCe. What stood out the most?
I thought his sinker was tremendous tonight. It just had a lot of movement on it, and I thought he used his breaking ball extremely well. And to pitch out of that, the bases loaded jam, I think, with one out, he came up big for us and gave us a ton of distance.
Swinging a high drive center field. Yelich going back. Yelich at the track. It is over his head and bouncing over that orange line. That's going to get Young in to break this tie. It is 4-3 New York.
It feels good to produce right there, especially with 2 outs. Those 2-out RBIs, they're golden. And they're, again, they're a big momentum shift when you can get those 2-out RBIs. So, that felt great. You always want to be the guy that your teammates want you up there in that type of situation. But again, with this offense, we don't have to rely on one guy.
It's a huge hit for him to give us the lead right there. That was a big win, and he had the biggest smile on his face at second base, so we're all here for him and really happy for him.
We got plenty of guys, that can get the job done here, and that's a good feeling to be a part of that type of lineup.
Fastball chopped towards third. Big hop for a jumping right. Throws to first. Put it in the books. Terrace Familia picks up save number 41. The New York Mets now have an 8-game winning streak.
2 starts by Logan Verrett in place of Matt Harvey. They're 2-0, the Mets in those games. Gil Martin struggled, but after that, Robles, Reed, and Familia.
Left footer gets it off. Nice booming kick. Landry has plenty of room back to the 31-yard line. Straight up the field to 40, 45, 50. Got a big hole! Goes to the left. Got to beat the punter, and he does. Corner goal to the end zone. He's running to the corner. Touchdown, Miami!
No flags! How about that play?
69 yards. Jarvis Landry for the lead.
Yeah, I love playing with Jarvis. He brings a lot of energy, not only offense, but to special teams as well, and has a huge impact. Had a big run for us. I don't remember what quarter, maybe fourth quarter, had a big run for us, and had a bunch of big catches as well. So you add that to the punt return, and he had a huge footprint on this game.
That'll do it. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Washington Redskins to begin season 50 of Dolphins football here in Landover, Maryland, by a final score of 17-10.
3rd down and goal after the injury timeout. Under center, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Offset eye right. He throws a lob. Back right corner. Brandon Marshall makes the catch. He's got it. That's a Jet touchdown. Throw it up to a franchise wide receiver and let him go make a play. That's what Ryan Fitzpatrick just did.
It feels good. You get the butterflies out the way, We get the first one out. It wasn't perfect by no means, but we did what we had to do to win. They had more penalties than us, and it's a good start.
And that will do it. The final score, the opening game of the 2015 season and the opening game of the Todd Bowles era as head coach of the New York Jets. The Jets win it 31-10.
Here's the snap, fumbled by Romo. Picks it up, has a shot in the end zone. It's caught! Jason Witten! It's caught! How do you do? Tie game!
At that moment, you really have no choice. I mean, it's coming down to a play or two, and I felt comfortable with the play. You just got to get calm, pick it up, trust your guys around you to do their job, and they did a hell of a job.
It's my fault at the end of the game. There's nobody else to blame but me. The decision to throw the ball there on 3rd down was not a good decision, and it should have been a run, whether we scored or not. The clock would have at least given us an opportunity to take a few more seconds off. We wouldn't have had the points, but, we could have run the ball. The clock would have run. We line up, take a timeout, and kick the field goal. It would have taken at least another 40 seconds or so off the clock for them. So that was a bad decision on my part. Nobody else to blame but me.
Shane Vereen laterals it back. They are trying the Stanford bend. Game's over. Extraordinary finish. How about?
I should have definitely, had an option, just take the sack and run those 40 seconds off the clock, give them less time. So that's That's 100% on me, and that can't happen. I had bad clock management those final 3 plays. I thought they'd used their last timeout on the play to Odell when we got the first down, and I thought they only had 1 timeout left. I guess since there was a penalty, even though we declined it, for some reason that stops the clock, and so I didn't think that was the case. So I had bad clock management there.
The accommodation that Kim Davis wants is for her name to be removed from the marriage license. She believes they could be issued under the authority of Governor Beshear or the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Absent of that, she says she is now torn between the order of that federal judge, David Bunning, and torn between, she says, obeying God.
Effective immediately, and until an accommodation is provided by those with the authority to provide it, any marriage license issued by my office will not be issued or authorized by me.
Now, Davis says she doubts the marriage license will be valid without her name on them. The governor, the attorney general, and county attorney all say the license will stand absent her name. The deputy clerk says he will move forward issuing marriage license, including same-sex marriage license. And Davis says she will not retaliate against the deputy clerk when he moves forward with those licenses.
Brash and full of energy, Donald Trump took the stage.
Amazing. Thank you. Wow. So exciting. Do you notice what's missing tonight? Teleprompters. No teleprompters.
Without a teleprompter, a 1-hour speech.
So, the debate. I hear they're all going after me. Whatever.
Playing to the crowd, many who couldn't hear enough.
If I'm elected president, so proud of your country again.
He hit on many of the themes he has in the past, blasting the Affordable Care Act. And Trump got a standing ovation and chants of USA when he said this.
We have to stop illegal immigration. We have to do it. We have to do it.
Once again, he pledged to build a wall on the border. Trump says he'll announce a tax plan soon. But this undecided voter wanted more.
I feel like I've been at a rock concert. It was wonderful. It's just what we need to hear.
Donald Trump in Texas did talk about former Governor Rick Perry, who left the race this week. He said Perry is a nice guy who tried hard.
Get some Robert Plant going for you on a 2 for Tuesday to steal one from 102.7 WNEW or the Gator. Hey, Wes, get me up a little more there underneath there. Get me all jacked up as far as you can go. Don't be nervous. There you go. Chris West in to date with the honeymooning, vacationing Eric Langell, who got married on Sunday, celebrated a birthday on Monday, and for the rest of the week we've got Chris West here. He was here a couple of weeks ago, did a very, very good job, and so he's back because he's a really talented guy. He knows his board as well as anybody. And he's funny, and he's got a good sense of humor, doesn't take life too seriously, and he's kind of fat, so that's cool. And he's here, and I'm here, and Z-Mac is here, and Ricky's here, and I am back after a couple of days, and a lot went on, obviously, as evidenced through that open. The Yankees got a big win. Slade Heathcote with a monster 3-run home run for the Yanks in their win last night. The Metropolitans never lose, and David Wright and Cespedes. Terry Collins saying this morning or yesterday, the only player he's ever seen that is as good, or at least the player that reminds him when he watches Cespedes is Barry Bonds. He compared Cespedes to Barry Bonds in yesterday's New York Post, and on the Mets they are red hot. I mean red hot, and they will continue their series against the Marlins. The Yankees have the Rays. Is that right?
That is right.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the Yankees have the Rays, and the Mets have the Marlins, and then the Mets will play the Yankees. All right, so we got that going on, and of course you had the Dolphin victory over the Washington Redskins. You had the Giant the Giant loss against Dallas. You heard there from Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning. You had the Jets running roughshod over the Cleveland Browns, an easy 31-10 win there. And then, of course, you heard Kim Davis back at work at Kentucky yesterday. She will still not marry gay couples. She will allow her clerk to do that, but she won't do it. And then finally, the big Donald Trump rally from last night in Texas. So all that going on. The big debate coming up tomorrow night, debate number 2 at the Reagan Library. There'll be the kiddie table again. There'll be a kiddie table at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. And then, of course, the big one coming up at 8. And so a lot going on, right? You got week 2 of the NFL starting on Thursday night with the Broncos and the Chiefs. And just to get you updated, week 2 for the local teams, the Giants are going to take on the Falcons. The Dolphins are in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. And your red-hot New York Jets are in Indianapolis taking on a Colt team that took it on the chin in Buffalo against Rex Ryan's Bills on Sunday. So Jets and Colts from Indy on Monday night. But I come back to work with a bit of a heavy heart this morning after spending the last 4+ days basically in the ICU unit up at Cornell Medical Center at Presbyterian Hospital in New York with my dad. So I want to take a quick break. An early break this morning there, Chris West. 888-640-9385. That's the number, 888-640-9385. We'll hit the phones early. We've got an amazing guest list today. Liz Mandel back for her weekly appearance coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. The world-renowned sex and relationship therapist. She'll join us at 7. Mark Feinsand covering the Yankees. Yankees and Rays tonight, then Yankees and Mets, then Yankees and Blue Jays after the weekend coming up at 7:30. We'll talk Hillary Clinton with the man that has run both Clinton campaigns, Bill and Hillary's campaign, for 30 years. Lanny Davis coming up at 8. Brian Baldinger, his weekly NFL spot from the NFL Network, NFL Films, and Fox. We'll break down week 1, get you ready for week 2 of the NFL season with Brian Baldinger coming up at 8:30. My good friend, actor Billy Baldwin, stopping by at 9 o'clock this morning. He's got a brand new movie coming out on TV this week. And finally, Allison, how do you say her last name there exactly? Camerota?
I think that's right.
She does the morning show with Chris Cuomo. She's on television right now alongside Chris Cuomo on CNN. And I believe she's also filling in this week at 7 o'clock at night on CNN for Erin Burnett. So she is a star in the news industry. And from CNN, and she's going to join us coming up at 9:30. So 6 great guests. The phones are wide open. A lot to get to. Sports, news, politics, all that good stuff. As always, I am back and will come back on a busy Tuesday right after this.
Donald Trump, remember him? He said, this is what he said about his daughter Ivanka. Quote, yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't there, boom, boom, boom. He even said something like that on The View back in 2006. Take a look. I was here.
She does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
Stop it. Oh, it's so weird. Stop it. You know what? You are sick.
Isn't it terrible?
Yeah.
Well,
you're known for saying Mr. Trump. Who are you, Woody Allen? I said to him, who are you, Woody Allen? Because, Woody Allen famously married his, well, she wasn't his biological daughter. This one's his biological daughter. Is this a joke, or is he speaking as an entertainer?
Well, he doesn't have an edit button. He doesn't have a muzzle.
No.
But I've known Donald for a long time. I know Ivanka. I've been around the two of them together. There's nothing creepy going on.
No,
there.
I know
There's
that.
really nothing creepy going on there. What I wonder about is right now, he's just talking, and he doesn't have the ability to really have any consequences to what he says. What happens if he were to get elected and things he said had actual diplomatic impact?
You mean like he wants to date Putin's daughter, for example?
Yeah, or he actually had the football. He had the codes with the nuclear codes. I wonder...
But he keeps getting more and more popular. Every time he opens his mouth, he gets more popular
Among
than all the rest of
women,
them.
too, no
and
less.
among Republican women, the base, yeah.
Yeah, well, but it's a long way
What are
to
they
the
responding
election.
to, Dr.
Well,
Phil?
right
Tell me.
now, I think we are so overly politically correct that people are living vicariously through him saying the stuff that everybody wishes they could say. So I think right now... they're not everybody, but I mean, he's saying a lot of things that angry people might want to say.
I have to disagree with you.
No,
When he
you
says
do.
that-
You would disagree if I was reading the phone book.
No, that's not true. When he says that, Mexicans are coming over the border, they're rapists, etc., that's not a question of political incorrectness or correctness. It's outright bigotry. So why is it incorrect?
There are a lot of bigots. There are a lot of
people that agree with that, and he didn't.
And they're bigoted.
If you look carefully at what he said there are illegals coming across that are criminals, and that
some
is
are good.
true. But he broadens it out so much that it colors everybody with that brush.
takes five
and
steps too
that's
far.
where it gets into. That's where I have a problem with it.
Right. Of course, that's...
If he was being specific...
Isn't that what bigotry, the definition of bigotry?
It's where you start stereotyping and sweeping everybody into one category.
So you're saying he just needs to take one step and just stop before he takes step 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Exactly. But right now, it's not going to change because it's working for him, right?
Right. Yeah, it is.
It's working for him. But at some point, somebody's going to start asking questions about policies and whether or not he has something with a verb in it. Because right now, there aren't a lot of verbs in his sentences. And
He's big on adjectives. It's tremendous. It's huge. That's his adjective.
Regular Roger.
There's the Italian in you.
How do you think people are going to, like Bush and everyone at the debates, how do you think they're going to deal with him? Because everyone's tuning in to see Trump.
Right, but I think right now, they're just kind of laying in the weeds, waiting for him to just kind of self-combust.
Which could happen very soon.
But it's a long way to the election.
When you were before, couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so very special. But I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
Anybody more annoying than Joy Behar? By the way, Ricky, is that better? How's that sound? Good? All right. Joy Behar and The View. And that was Dr. Phil breaking it down. Donald Trump, of course, the second big debate coming up tomorrow night at the Reagan Library. The kiddie table starts at 6, and the big boys and lady, Carly Fiorina, go at it at 8. There's 11 now in the big one, right? When you add Carly, I think they went to 11 instead of 10. I think so, right?
I thought they might have. I thought they moved someone out. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Rick Perry took his ball and went home, but he was in the kiddie party anyway. He's staying in Texas. Yeah. Donald Trump said he's a nice guy, but he was kind of in over his head, and he was. And You know, Joyce loved that guy from the very, very beginning, my dear friend Joyce Kaufman from 850 WFTL Sports. Again, what a great segment. The world-renowned sex and relationship therapist here for her Tuesday morning conversation. Liz Mandel coming up at 7. Mark Feinsand talking Yankee baseball at 7:30. Lanny Davis talking Hillary Clinton coming up at 8. We'll talk to Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network, review Week 1 and preview Week 2 of the NFL season, which starts on Thursday night with Peyton Manning and the Broncos taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. That's coming up at 8:30. Actor Billy Baldwin coming up at 9. And Allison Camerado from CNN on right now with Chris Cuomo and filling in later for Erin Burnett at 7 o'clock tonight will join us at 9:30. And, of course, CNN has a debate. So quickly tell you where I've been the last couple of days, because everybody knows, of course, that we put on this very emotional and very big 9/11 show. We had great guests coming on Friday, too, which is ironic. We had a great show coming your way. 14 years since 9/11, and it was about Thursday at about 5 o'clock. And, Z-Mac, you had just texted me with Friday morning's guest list. And, again, it was really good. And I think Bernard Kerrick was going to join us, too, who was actually the commissioner of the police in New York back on 9/11, on top of what you had already done.
Right. Wow.
And I'm looking over the guest list, and I get a frantic phone call from my sister, who lives in Parkland, and then a phone call from my wife, Danielle. And make a long story short, at 5 o'clock on Thursday, I was preparing for our annual 9/11 show on Friday, and by 6:30 on Thursday night, I was at Palm Beach Airport getting ready to board a plane and go to New York City. My father had some issues this summer, which my parents hid from me. You know, usually I go to New York for quite some time during the summer. Last summer, I was there the whole summer, all 2 months, filling in at WFAN. I did not go this summer to work at WFAN. I did 2 shows, as you guys know, filling in for Geraldo Rivera at WABC. I never went to upstate where my parents live. I stayed in Manhattan for 3 days, and that was it. That's the only time I spent in New York. So I didn't see my dad. And he got back to me, he was not feeling well most of the summer, and then he came to visit us last week. You know that, Steve. My mom and dad came down.
Got that great picture of the three of you.
Right. The 3 generations of Rosenbergs, my dad, me, and my son Gabriel. And he did seem tired. Didn't seem all that healthy and great, but it wasn't awful. And then he went home. And I guess the day he went home last week, he was really not feeling well. They took him right to the doctor. Make a long story short, he had about 95% of his biggest artery clogged, and he was seconds away from cardiac arrest and a huge heart attack, and the doctor said that he would have died. Not one of these where he would have had a heart attack and they would have saved him. He would have died. So they took him in Thursday for open heart surgery to the best heart institute in New York City, the Cornell Medical Center, which Weill Cornell, which is affiliated with Presbyterian Hospital. And he went in for open heart surgery, and I arrived there very late Thursday night. My plane was delayed. I walked into the hospital room at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I think we stayed till about 4. And then my dad went in for surgery 7:30 that morning, came out about 1:30. And I never saw that many tubes and that many. He was hooked up on about 9 intravenous's, and he had a tube in his mouth for days. That was really uncomfortable, and it was very, very scary and tough to watch. And then, unfortunately, after coming out that first day and seemingly doing very, very well, they actually removed the tube. We left that night. He was talking, and miraculously, after one day was doing great, we returned the next morning, and the tube was back in. And we were like, what's going on? And he bled badly that night and nearly died again. So the last 3 days has been a very, very tough on me, my mother, my sisters, my whole family. But the good news is that I'm here because yesterday he actually got out of bed for the first time. He took his first 2 steps, with help, obviously, sat in a chair, which, believe it or not, after you have major open heart surgery at the age of 82, 2 surgeries because I had to stop the bleeding the night after. Believe it or not, just getting help and going 2 steps and sitting up to eat lunch in a chair is a big deal. And difficult, too, because when he got up, his pressure dropped dramatically. But now we're used to that, so we kind of figured that out. And he sat there, had lunch, and it was very tough for me to leave. I know I cried the whole way down to the lobby, in the cab, back to LaGuardia Airport, and felt really horrible about leaving. But, listen, I got a job here, and I missed Danielle and the kids, and I had to get back. But it was very, very tough to leave. My mom wanted me to stay, I can tell. My dad wanted me to stay, and my sisters, thank God, are there, and my brothers are there, brother-in-laws. So I did leave, but that was the harrowing experience I had the last 4 days. And even this morning, I got up very early to kind of, because I bought like two pairs of shorts and 2 shirts. So I was wearing the same clothes basically for 4 days. So I got up early this morning, 2:30, shaved and showered and trying to feel good about myself. But honestly, I don't still. Because he's doing a lot better yesterday, and I'm sure even better today, but I'm still a little worried, obviously. And I felt bad about leaving, but that's where I was the last couple of days. That's why we were not on Friday. Now, yesterday we were off anyway for Rosh Hashanah, which I did not celebrate, obviously, because I was at the hospital in New York in the morning and flew back here at night. So my Rosh Hashanah meal was popcorn chips and chocolate chip cookies on JetBlue. Not exactly your traditional Rosh Hashanah dinner, but that's what I had last night, because I didn't arrive until about 8:30 last night. I got home, and I couldn't wait to see my kids, and I couldn't wait to have pleasures with my wife. And then I went to bed, so. And it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'm up at 2:50, like I said. So I am back today, but still worried about my dad and hoping he's okay and all that stuff. And we're going to have a great show and a great week. And we got great guests stopping by. And we got the great baseball series and football week number 2 and the big debate tomorrow night. And so I think as the days go on, I think I'll get better and better. But today ain't going to be easy. That's all I'm going to say to you. So I'm not going to be my regular outgoing and adorable self. I could tell you that right now. Well, that's fine. I mean, I think most of you would be the same way. So, I mean, some of you were just psychos and horrible people and don't care. But I would imagine most of you would kind of feel the same way. I mean, it's one thing to come back to a job when you're sitting at a desk, 9 to 5 job. You're sitting there and kind of get lost in yourself. But it's another thing to come back and have to go on the air and be funny and entertaining and thought-provoking, and that ain't easy, because I'd rather not do it, to be honest. I love my job. I love my job, and I love this show. But given the choice, I'd rather be home right now just kind of, talking to my mom and dad and that type of thing. But I'm not doing that, so I am here. And if it sounds like I'm not under the weather. I feel fine. I feel great, but I'm a little sad, to be honest, and nervous. And I got a lot of emotions going on right now, So that's the deal. Hi, Chelsea. And we'll make it work, We'll have a great week. Chris West is in for Eric Langell. He's very funny. He's very good. Z-Mac is here. Ricky is here. We got a great guest list today. Again, Liz Mandel, Mark Feinsand, Lanny Davis, Brian Baldinger, actor Billy Baldwin, and Allison Camerata. Is that the way you say her name?
I'm going to figure that out before we get her on. I will.
That would be nice.
I'm going to run and put the
thing up
on.
Right. She's a cute chick. She's on with Chris Cuomo right now. And again, filling in on Out Front with Erin Burnett at 7 o'clock tonight. So we got everything covered today. We got the football, we got the baseball, we got Hillary, we got tomorrow night's debate. We got it all covered. It's just a matter of me getting through the next 3.5 hours. Plus, I don't think they paid me for my commercials at this damn place this month, so that's another source of irritation and frustration, which I just don't need right now. They should be giving me extra money just for showing up, let alone having to argue about every penny and nickel. So now I'm pissed off again.
Don't be pissed off. I'm sure it'll get squared away.
No, it's not. Never does. So let me grab some phone calls here quickly. 888-640-9385. Our first guest, Liz Mandel, coming up in about 27 minutes, and she's going to talk about hand jobs and blow jobs. And let me warn the listening audience, again, Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock, if you've got the kids in the car on the way to school, knowing Liz Mandel is coming on, my recommendation is make it louder.
Wait, what?
Make it louder. Just make it loud. These kids need to know these things, and forget about sex ed in school or watching some lousy Saturday morning ABC, the back-to-school thing. Keep it right here.
You got to break them while they're early.
That's what I say. Except for my kids, of course, Chris. But yes, for your kids, yes.
Oh, thank God I don't have
Well, I
any
know
kids.
you don't, yes. Yeah. Thank God for you or for the rest of America.
Probably both.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here's Fish. Good morning, Fish. How are you, pal?
Good morning. Well wishes to your dad, man.
Thank you.
Keep your chin up because it's going to get rough. I know my dad passed away, and
sorry.
It gets rough at this time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to be a man. You got to love your dad. You got to stick up for what he believed he wanted you to be, and you could do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Fish. Thank
I'm
you.
getting emotional too, but I can't believe Giancarlo Stanton don't want to play for the Marlins right now. I mean, you're in New York. It's a playoff. You're not in the playoffs, but they are. You can go up there and at least do something, man. Sit on the bench. I just don't like that from a superstar that we're paying all this money to. whatever. You don't want to play, your hand hurts, then just stay home. Don't sit there in the dugout because it's
Listen,
disgusting.
I think he's done there, Bish, and thank you for the kind words. I'm sorry you got emotional there. I'm sorry about your father, too. He's done here. He's had enough. You know, he thought this team would be really good a couple of years ago when they got Jose Reyes and Mark Burley and all those guys, and they were a disaster. And then, of course, they traded away everybody. They seemingly rebuilt it in 2 years. There was an incredible amount of excitement and expectation at the start of this year, even with Jose Fernandez on the shelf, and they were even worse. So here's a guy that may be the best player in baseball. When you talk about tools, and Cespedes for the Mets is every bit as good, ironically. But this guy's as good as it gets, and he's been on a team that just can't get out of their own way for years. Injuries and bad baseball and lousy crowds, and it's a bad baseball town anyway. There's no way a guy like him should be playing baseball here. He could be a monster star in New York, in Chicago, in California. Big stars should not play baseball in Miami. It's the bottom line. So I think he's probably disgruntled. He's probably had enough and just doesn't want to play. Here's Leo. Good morning, Leo.
Good morning, Sid. Prayers to your family and your dad and everybody connected with your father. I hope he, there's no words to describe. I lost my father Rosh Hashanah in 95. So,
oh, sorry.
Now I've got to go to tell you some good news. Did you hear who's going to take over Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump?
Celebrity Apprentice, obviously no longer Donald Trump. The last I heard, they were talking to George Lopez. Who's the winner?
Well, Arnold. It was in USA Today.
God. Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my
you believe
God.
that one?
That's funny.
So instead of you're fired, you're terminated.
That's funny. Thank you, Leo. Sorry
yeah,
about your pop.
that is confirmed. I saw that this morning.
Right. Why not?
Ex-politician.
He's fine on TV. I mean, listen,
better than George Lopez, I would think.
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, he bankrupted California, but he's a halfway decent guy on TV and in the movies. Here's Dale. Good morning, Dale.
Anything's better than George Lopez. I mean, a freaking Mexican. That guy is something else. Listen, Sid, Dr. Phil, I even hate using that word doctor when describing this asshole.
Yeah.
Okay, for him to go on The View and talk about Donald Trump, you're talking about a guy who has a degree from the same university that Sinbad played football at. I mean, this guy is an absolute joke, and that show, The View, is just complete asinine. I mean, you talk about The View. Listen, there's no difference of opinion on that show. It's all a bunch of broads, them combined.
There you go. That's didn't take Dale long there to actually. How many different people did he offend in that phone call? Stupid Mexicans, bull dykes. What else?
That was literally 45 seconds. Yeah, you're right.
That was great. That's just Dale gets to say all that stuff, and we can't get into trouble because it's Dale.
Yeah, we get to hit the dump button once every time.
No,
so
don't.
It's fun.
Did you hit the dump button
We
there for
have
Dale?
to, yeah.
No, not for the caller. You don't have to. No, don't hit the dump button for the caller. If I say something stupid, you hit the dump button because I can get fired. If Dale wants to call them bull dykes and whores and Mex, it doesn't matter. Do not hit the dump button for a caller.
Unless it's Mad Mike and he gets completely out of
Unless
control.
they say one of those 7 words.
But he did. He dropped the A-bomb.
Asshole's fine.
Is it?
Yes. Welcome to the Sid Rosenberg Show, Chris. Maybe we should give him a handbook before the start of the show. Yeah. On this show, it's fine.
All right.
So get that finger. You have a very itchy finger. I see that. The beauty of this show is we say and do anything, and we kind of fire first and worry about repercussions later, okay?
There we go. That's the way I like it.
You have to worry about getting fired because you're quitting anyway. So.
That's true.
Here's John Burns. Good morning, Johnny. What's going on, partner?
Hey, good morning, pal. Listen, just want to let you know everybody was thinking about you while you were up there.
I know. Listen, you and Carol and the multitude, the tons of messages that we received, not just me but my sisters, from listeners and fans here and in New York and friends like you and Carol, John, was really overwhelming. My dad saw a lot of them. You may have noticed on my Facebook page a lot of likes from Harvey Rosenberg, really up until about 6 a.m. on Friday morning, because he went up for surgery at about 7:30. So thank you, John. Thank you.
And just so you know, the program director there, I want to give him a little kudos because the torture the rest of us down here went through with that Friday and Monday show, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Well, what'd they do?
Was out there on the radio these days?
I don't even know what they did. I was in New York. Well, what did they play?
Oh my God! These two squeaky guys. I don't even know what the name of the show was.
Well, that had to be the Fox Morning Show with Mike North and Andy Furman, right?
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it.
Well.
Oh my God, what torture!
Well, you know what the problem is, John, and I love you dearly, is we've conditioned our audience to a different type of show. So when you put on a couple of guys that talk sports, I'm sure they were fine yesterday. They probably broke down. Now, look, Mike North is from Chicago, so I'm sure he spent a lot of time talking about the Bears and the Packers, but they probably broke down week one and all the football, and guys who want sports in the morning, i.e. Joe Rose, that's what they want. But we've conditioned you to be different. You see, you're a much smarter audience, a much more diverse audience, and that's because of the show that we do. So we've spoiled you to a certain extent. Those guys are fine. I know Mike North. He's a star in Chicago for 4 decades. But when you're used to a show like this where you go from talking to Brian Baldinger about the NFL to Lanny Davis about politics, it ain't going to work for you.
And me and Leo had talked, well, not about the Friday show, but about the Monday show, about putting together a best of, and we realized it was the Sunday after week one of the NFL season. That really wouldn't make much sense.
It still doesn't matter.
But no.
What Leo wants to understand is, yes, he made the right move. I would have done the same thing, but moving forward, you can't. It doesn't matter if the Super Bowl is played the day before. These guys and these ladies that listen to our show don't want to hear sports, a sports breakdown, no matter what. On Monday morning, evidenced by that last phone call and the ton of messages I received. So you would think, yes, give me Jets, Browns, give me Giants, Cowboys, give me Bears, Packers, give me Bills, Colts. Give me Sid talking to Lindsey Graham from a month ago. I'd rather have that. Here is Steve on a mobile. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Sydney. How are you?
I'm hanging in. Thanks.
I understand. I just wanted to let you know my thoughts and prayers are with you and your father in particular for
Thank you.
full and speedy recovery, God willing.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And, you made a comment earlier a few moments ago about you kind of like warning your audience about your stays, and I just felt compelled to call. There's a longtime listener and somebody who really loves what you bring to the table. Just understand, because it's easy when we're all in the moment to lose sight. It's your transparency and rawness of the moment and whatever's going on in the world or in life at that time that I think people embrace and people really like, and they love that you don't put up this fake veil of what you think maybe needs to be kind of, the show must go on and suddenly hit a switch. So you don't need to be anything but whatever you are in the moment, and people will love that and embrace that.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thoughts and prayers to you. I'm going to send you a link for something that might put a smile on your face.
Okay.
It's for a new app that's actually not real, but the video is hysterical, and the app is called I Shiva. You will laugh.
Okay.
In spite of everything that's going on, this will make you laugh for a couple moments.
All right, I appreciate that, Steve. Thank you. That is true. I don't come on with the fake Joe Rose, how you doing with the ladies? How's everybody? I mean, God forbid his mother could have died the night before, and he'd have the same exact voice the next morning. I don't do that. And I don't apologize for not doing that. 888-640-9385. Lenny's on the phone. Scott's on the phone. Stephanie's on the phone. Gabe is on the phone. We still have 1 or 2 lines open before the guests start piling up again, starting with the very, very sexy and brilliant Liz Mandel coming your way at 7 o'clock. And after that, we'll talk to Mark Feinsand and Lanny Davis and Brian Baldinger and actor Billy Baldwin and some more. So we'll take a short break. We have one more segment, 15 more minutes on the phones with you guys. You can talk about the Dolphin win, the Jet win, the Giant loss, the Mets and the Yankees, me, politics, the debate tomorrow night, whatever you want. We'll come back with another phone segment with you guys right after this.
Phone booth in Vegas, Jessie calls at 5 a.m. to tell me how she's tired of all of them. She says, baby, I've been thinking about a trailer by the sea. We could go to Mexico, you, the cat, and me. We'll drink tequila and look for seashells. Now doesn't that sound sweet? Oh, Jesse, you always do this every time I get back on my feet. bunch of pictures about how it's gonna be. By now I should know better. Your dreams are never free. But tell me all about our little trailer by the sea. Jesse, you can always sell any dream to me. Oh, Jesse, you can always sell any dream to me.
So I got up really early yesterday morning. Basically, the itinerary for the day, the last 4 days, was get up really early. See, I've got this wonderful trainer here in South Florida, which I talk about all the time, Katie Bartlett. She's the best at Busybody, John Larkin's Busybody in Boca. And she's great, and my body's completely changed thanks to her. But I've got this great trainer in New York, and how I met him was actually funny. Years ago, and we'll get to the phones here in a second, Gabe, Stephanie, Lenny, Scotty, all of you. Years ago, when the Denver Broncos took on the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl was in New York, and they put us up for a week. We were bankrupt at the time. That was a miserable trip. But they put us up for a week. How'd they get the money for that, now they think about it?
That's a good question, because that was the nice media hotel.
That was like on Rick's credit card or something. They
the
put
Sheraton.
Us up, the Sheraton Hotel on 52nd and 7th. And I went down to work out one night during that Super Bowl week, and I saw this kid, good-looking kid, wearing a jet shirt in great shape. Turns out the kid is a big-time trainer in New York City. His name is Scotty Schmidl. He works out with a bunch of jet players, and he's the real deal. And we started talking, and the next thing you know, I trained with him, as you know, Steve, because you roomed with me the rest of that trip. Now, every time I come to New York for 2 months last summer, for 2 days, WABC, these 3 days, I meet him like I would meet Katie and
Cotto Martinez.
Same thing. Henry, right, that fight, the Cotto Martinez. So I go to the Sheraton Hotel, and I work out with Scott. And we stayed at a hotel, my sister and I, that was only about 4 blocks away, which was close to the hospital. So I started yesterday morning by getting up real early, about 6 o'clock, and we had a 7 a.m. workout because I wanted to get to the hospital before 10 because I knew I was coming home yesterday. And it was a chilly day, too. It was in the 50s when I left yesterday morning. It was still dark out, a gorgeous, gorgeous New York morning. And I checked my phone on the way out of the hotel, and I see Stephanie Perales, our number one fan, our dear friend, Stephanie and Ralph. Stephanie Perales has a picture already on Facebook and to my account. She's standing outside the Today Show, Rockefeller Center, New York City, wearing her Citizen T-shirt with this big sign, the Sid Rosenberg Show, Get Well Harvey, my dad, Get Well Harv, and pictures of me, you, and Eric Langell on this sign, me and my new Sid Met shirt. And what a great job by Stephanie, A, to get to the Today Show, B, make that sign, and I think she got on TV. I think she did. So with that said, here she is, our number one fan, Stephanie. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you, sweetheart?
Good morning, Sid, from the greatest city in the world, New York.
Oh, you're still there, I guess.
Yes, we are still here. It's a wonderful place. It was so cold yesterday. You were right.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
Well, the morning was cold, but then the sun came out. It was gorgeous in the afternoon. It was about 73 and sunny and gorgeous.
Well, that's like after people have to pay like $80 for a sweatshirt because they're from Florida and they're freezing. Right. That was a little too late.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say it was my honor to do that for you and Stevie yesterday.
Don't forget Eric. I hear Rob in the background. Don't forget Eric. He's not here today, so he can't hear this, but don't forget Eric.
I don't really care about that. But anyway, I want to say it was absolutely like something on my bucket list to go to the Jets game on Sunday in East Rutherford, and it was an amazing time. I hope everyone enjoyed the pictures. It was electric. And yesterday when we were on the tour and we went down what they call the medical mile, where all the hospitals are, and everything. I really, my heart went out to your dad, and get well, Harvey. That's why I added get well, Harvey on the sign.
Yes, thank you.
And Ralph and I just want everyone. Well, just you, really. That we love and we love you guys. And I'm sorry, I get a little emotional.
That's okay.
But,
Thank you. We love you too. Thank you.
Yeah, we just love you guys, and we're so excited to be able to say that the Jets are undefeated.
Boy, they did look great. There's a Jets chant in the background. 31-10 Jets, and we'll see how they can follow that up. I know the Colts looked really bad against Buffalo Sunday, and I know their best wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton, is out for quite some time now, and the running back they got from the 49ers, Frank Gore, is out, and Luck has very few weapons. All I'm going to say is that's the NFL. The Jets look great one weekend. The Colts look awful. Next thing you know, it's Monday Night Football. The game is in Indy. I really doubt the Colts are going to start the season 0-2. Now, the Jets early in the week are getting 7 points. They look like a really live underdog. I mean, some Jet fans will take them on the money line. I will tell you, be careful. As good as the Jets looked, it was Cleveland. As bad as Indy looked, that was Rex Ryan's defense week 1 on the road. I don't think we'll get the same outcome Monday night in Indy, but who knows? Fact is, the Jets are 1-0. And the Colts are 0-1. Lenny, good morning, pal. How are you?
Sid, I knew something was wrong when I turned on the radio on Friday, and you weren't there. No, that's your show of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm glad your father's doing better. You know,
Thank you.
I got good thoughts for him.
Thank you.
And I know Harvey's tough. And being the Giant fan that he is, he survived that Giant game the other night.
It's funny you say that because I was nervous. I said to the nurse, if this didn't kill him, the end of the game will. But he took it pretty well. I'll tell you a funny story about that game, Lenny, and thank you for the phone call. So the Giants are up 23-20, and we know what happened, okay? Third down, they elect to throw the football instead of Eli Manning doing the right thing and taking a sack, which any veteran of 11 years would have done. He's a dummy. He's so overrated, it makes me sick. He did win 2 Super Bowls and all that, but he's so overrated. Anyway, he throws the ball incomplete, and I say, go for it on 4th down. I don't care if you come up short. I would rather give the football back to the Cowboys at their own 1-yard line with no timeouts up by 3 than kick off up by 6, give Tony Romo 90 seconds to win the game with a touchdown. I swear to you, and every nurse heard it, every doctor heard it, my father, as soon as the Giants kicked the field goal, went up 26-20, I turned around and said to everybody, including this nurse, this girl Christina, who's wearing a Giants shirt, I go, we just lost the game. She goes, what do you mean we lost the game? I said, we just lost the game. I have been a Giant fan for 40. I've seen this over and over and over again. We went up by 6. You're giving Tony Romo 90 seconds. Dallas touchdown. They win the game, and that's exactly how it ended up. Because I've seen it. I've seen it a million times. Go for it on 4th down. Give them the ball at the 1. I don't care. Don't kick a field goal to go up by 6. Sure enough, the Giants lost the game. Mad Mike, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Sid, I'm going to make this short, man. I'm just glad your dad's doing okay. I know what that's all about, bro. And I sent you an email. I really don't go on social media that much. I'm not a big fan of it. So, but the best to you and your family and your dad's in my prayers, man. I'll give you guys a call later.
Thank you.
All right, buddy? Take care.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Mad Mike, been a fan since the early days of the Sports Guys back in 2000. Gabriel, good morning, Gabe. How are you, pal?
Well, I'm just glad that you and Big Harvey are doing well and better. And, I got to be honest with you. From Friday night all the way through Saturday afternoon, my mind was a pile of crap. I was really worried about your dad, worried about you.
Thank you.
And I'm glad everything turned out well and how everyone sent out the positive energy and Harvey's back kicking ass.
That meant a lot.
And,
Listen, Gabe, that means a lot. You guys, my father loves this show. He gets up very early up in Canyonga Lake, way up in the mountains in New York, and listens every day. He knows who you are. He knows when he gets all these messages, and he's crazy anyway, he reads every one. Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff meant a lot to him. Now, look, he's not out of the woods, not by any stretch. He's 82 years old. He had not 1 but 2 surgeries because he had the open heart, then he started bleeding the next night. So he's, and again, I felt horrible even leaving yesterday, so he's not out of the woods, but he is certainly better off today than he was 2 days ago, and certainly better off today than he was a week ago. And again, you guys did a really, really good job, Gabe, all you guys, and he appreciated that, so thank you.
Well, trust me, it's nothing, Sid. And, 2 things, folks. 3 things, folks. Those of you who are actually listening out there. When you're struggling and Sid is not on the air, don't be afraid to go to Facebook and go to the Facebook of Sid Rosenberg Fan Club page. There's pictures on there. There's audio of the show. It'll point you into the right direction instead of going through the mundane and the banal and the sports talk over and over again, the same thing. And the other thing, congratulations to Eric Langell and his marriage to lovely and vivacious Alicia.
Yes.
But remember, folks, just because Langell got married does not mean that all of a sudden he's a protected species. He's still a dumb musclehead, a swamp-living redneck.
Right.
And
right.
and hopefully, you never know. Sid could get in a certain mood. Chris West could do a phenomenal job.
That's right.
And he could replace Langell. We don't know. And by the way, Chris, I'm over here at my house waiting for you. Got plenty of dough, plenty of beer, and the whole entire seasons of Sons of Anarchy. See you later.
See you. Thank you. He's already off to a tremendous start, Chris. When he showed up, he was already off to a great start. So, Langell is. When's Langell supposed to come back to this show?
Monday.
Oh, so he's taking the whole week off.
The whole week.
Yes, he will be gone the whole week, and I will be in his place.
Yeah. And you only hope to God that next week at this time you're still in his place, don't you?
I'll come hang out for another week if
Let me ask you this.
I'll do it for you.
You're a good person. You wouldn't want somebody to get hurt and or die to keep this job, except in this case. Is that fair to say?
Well, no, not necessarily, because if I could have Michael Bay die of a horrible death,
that would be
I would
even
want
better.
that.
Right.
Every regular day people, they're cool, but I'd definitely stick it out for another week. This is one of the more fun shows to do around here.
Thank you. You do a very good job with us, too, so thank you. That's Chris West filling in this week for the vacationing Eric Langell, who did get married on Sunday and celebrated a birthday on Monday, and he's having himself a real blast. And we are back today after 4 days in New York City. That first hour, I can't thank you guys enough. A lot of phone calls there from well-wishers and fans and friends, and I do appreciate that. We're going to start welcoming in now a cavalcade of great guests, starting with our world-renowned sex and relationship therapist, Liz Mandel, with us each and every Tuesday at this time. She'll be joining us momentarily. So once again, if your kids are in the car, my recommendation is, what's my recommendation, Steve?
Turn the radio
louder.
Oh, I was going to say down, but now
man, turn it up.
Turn it up.
They're not going to learn anything in school in sex ed that Liz is not going to teach them, though. So Liz will be here in a couple of moments. Mark Feinsand talking Yankee baseball. The Yanks get the big win yesterday. The youngster Slade Heathcote with a 3-run home run in the ninth, lifting the Yankees to a 4-1 win over Tampa. Yankees and Rays again tonight. Then Yankees and Mets this weekend. Then Yankees and Blue Jays right after the weekend. Mark Feinsand coming up at 7:30. The Clinton family guy, the same guy that ran Bill's campaign, he's now running Hillary's campaign. Seth Davis's father, Lanny Davis, will be here at 8 from the NFL Network, NFL Films, and Fox, reviewing week number 1 and previewing week number 2 of the NFL season. Brian Baldinger will be here at 8:30. My good friend, actor Billy Baldwin, coming by at 9 o'clock. He's got a brand new TV show coming out. And Allison Camarota from CNN. She's on right now with Chris Cuomo. Also filling in tonight, I believe, for Aaron Burnett out front at 7 o'clock tonight. And CNN, of course, has that debate coming up tomorrow night. So we'll talk to Allison about everything pertaining to tomorrow night's debate, including the very moving speech by Donald Trump in Dallas, Texas yesterday. So a lot going on. 6 great guests. All your phone calls, 888-640-9385. We come back with hour number 2. And Liz Mandel telling you how to do it right after this.